Hit points, for real. As we all know, hit points have been a main combat mechanic in our games since the very beginning, whether they be for board games, pen and paper role-playing games, live-action roleplay, or video games. Although hit points were introduced purely as a game mechanic to make games more fun, challenging, and balanced, the fact is a lot of us often envision what it would look like to have a lot of hit points. And that's the focus of this video. The real-world equivalent of hit points. If you're imagining a big, massive, dense hulk of a being having a lot of hit points, yeah, you'd probably be right. But there's more to it than that. There's more to hit points than just mass. I've been in MMA training groups where the little guys and little girls get thrashed and thrown about the place and just keep coming back for more. So I know there's more than just mass involved. In my mind, hit points are an amalgamation of muscle mass, bone density, fat mass, blood, neurology, psychology, spirit, and sheer dumb luck. Muscle mass refers to the number and density of muscle fibers between the tendons that anchor to the bones on either side of the joint. When one has more muscle fibers, flesh wounds are less likely to completely sever or immobilize the muscle, allowing the partially intact portion of the muscle and the surrounding assisting muscles to maintain flexion of that joint or movement. For example, a warrior takes a bash or a slash to a bicep, damaging the outer head of the bicep. Well, the in head of the bicep, as well as the brachialis underneath, can still maintain flexion of the elbow joint, enough for them to continue fighting. Bone density increases in response to consistent acute stress to the bones. This could include repetitive blunt force trauma, such as with iron palm training, a kickboxer's shins, or this guy's testicles. And it also comes with regular weight training, particularly high intensity or high resistance training, as the increase in muscle tension and resistance obviously puts the bones under a similar amount of stress. A controversial contributor to hit points is fat mass. Fat mass, or adipose tissue, contributes to overall density, which can serve to partially absorb damage from an incoming attack and protect some of the surrounding functional tissues. So if you were looking for an excuse to not go on a diet, this is it. Then we have blood. Blood, of course, is a major contributing factor in relation to blood quantity, blood quality, and how efficient your body is at transporting that blood to all the muscles that are in action. Naturally, any injury, be it a cut or contusion or some kind of burn, is going to have an effect on the overall blood flow to the area, possibly the blood flow throughout the entire body. And you can imagine that someone with a really healthy cardiovascular system and good blood will be able to maintain themselves in the fight a bit longer than someone who's otherwise. What about neurology? Well, the neural pathways in the nerves in your body play a big part in how your body responds to trauma. If we look at martial arts as an example, an experienced martial artist, when compared to the average person, will have significantly more neural pathways in relation to movement and control throughout the body. Not only does this assist with the compensation of an injury, it also assists with avoiding the injury altogether. Some hard martial arts disciplines, like karate, might teach tension techniques to tense certain muscles when an attack is incoming so that the area becomes as hard as a brick wall. Whereas soft martial arts disciplines like Kung Fu might teach sinking or yielding techniques, where they respond to an incoming attack by relaxing and going with the flow. And to the attacker, it's almost like trying to punch a beanbag. It's not as effective. Even outside the realm of martial arts, when the body's exposed to regular trauma, regular attacks, it will develop its own methods of damage mitigation, just naturally. And you'll see that in sports such as boxing, kickboxing, even baseball. You'll see it when a rugby player braces for a tackle and when a cricket player braces their hands to catch a ball. Now, if you're thinking these damage mitigation techniques aren't going to work against weapons, guess again. Because I've used them against knives and club-like weapons. And it can mean the difference between a superficial wound and a life-threatening wound. This brings me on to psychology. With psychology, for someone who's not accustomed to receiving damage or trauma, when it's new to them, it's going to seem a lot worse than what it really is. Picture the child that's just stubbed their toe on the ground. Compare this to someone with some kind of combat sports experience, and they've been thrust into a life or death situation. The adrenaline's pumping, it's put them in fight or flight mode, and they've chosen to fight. They're probably not even going to notice that they're receiving any kind of injury. So with good blood and cardio, good neurology and discipline, and good psychology and experience, we can see how even small, thin, wiry characters can still have pretty decent amount of hit points. But we're not finished yet. Now we get to spirit, or if you will, metaphysics. Some people just won't go down, no matter what you throw at them. No matter how much you toss them about the place like a rag doll, chuck them in front of a train, throw them under a bus, whatever, they just won't die, and they just keep coming back for more. Those people do exist. And I know because I've seen it, and I know because I've been it. Whereas others might just chalk it down to sheer dumb luck. Some people just have that roll of the dice. They're just lucky. Or unlucky, depends which way you want to look at it. And we all know that one person, at least one person, who's had so many near misses in their lives. And in a way, I suppose you could apply that to hit points. Now, if there's one thing I want you to take away with you from this video, that is, improve your hit points. We might not have any control over the stupid or convoluted hit point rules in some of the LARPs and PvP games out there. But we do have control over our own hit points, over our own health. And we've got no excuse not to improve our health. Increase your hit points, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Bye-bye.